I'm going to make another Ich bin nackt video, and this one is appropriate for the first subject of this video. And I am nackt except for the hat and the sunglasses. Now I'm pretty much dried off. The time I normally make these Ich bin nackt videos, I just get out of the shower because I've made about a dozen attempts at this video, and I pretty much dried off in here. I'll make a video, get midway through, and say, well, I don't like it. I'm going to start over. It usually takes me about a dozen attempts to pile through a video and get something that's half-assed decent. But anyway, now I was following discussion over on Facebook. It's one of Wonder Hussy's videos where someone had posted a video. Now this video is in French, so I really can't understand much of it. Now, of course, if it were in English, I'd understand it. If it were in Spanish or German, I could get a little bit of it. Because Ich verstehe ein bisschen Deutsch. Yo hablo español. Yo hablo poquito español. But anyway, it shows like, well, this is like on European nudity. You know, this video does show, I just watched about the first 2 minutes of it. Like I said, it's in French, so other than knowing it was French, I couldn't really get much about the rest of it. But anyway, now the European standards of nudity are a little bit different. I'm just wondering if Wonder Hussy, now at one time she said she lived in Germany when she was a girl, and maybe she can pick up some German. Maybe if she makes her videos completely in German, where the YouTube thinks that they're aimed at a European, I mean, make them naked and in German, you know, like when I'm saying, Ich bin nackt, ich verstehe ein bisschen Deutsch. Now that may, you know, I'm not going to post myself completely naked, but, you know, I might put on a pair of Speedos or a pair of bikini underwear. Of course, YouTube will age restrict my bikini underwear videos. But if I were, said, if I use a little bit more German, or maybe some chick wants to teach me some French. If some chick wants to teach me some French, where I sound like a Frenchman, maybe YouTube wouldn't age restrict my videos. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe Wonder Hussy could learn some French. I think she said her sister spoke French. So maybe if her and her sister got totally naked and just did the video completely in French, YouTube would let it sneak by. I don't know. But if you go to Wonder Hussy's YouTube page, and that video will come up. Like I said, it is in French, so unless you speak French, you might have trouble understanding it. The second thing I'm going to cover. Now, I've never really touched on ghost guns here on YouTube. Now, let me explain. Well, there's two types of ghost guns. Now, there's a first main type. Now, these are guns that don't have any recorded serial number. Now, they have printed plastic guns. You know, they make printers, and there's places where you can find the software, to print these guns. Now, any sane, rational person wouldn't design a ghost gun for any cartridge more powerful than a 22. Now, you'd probably want to make the firing pin out of steel. Of course, you could make the barrel out of steel. You might take a 22 barrel out of something else. Maybe take a piece of pipe that's stout enough to. I'm just wondering if anybody was stupid enough to make a printed plastic gun for any cartridge more powerful than a 22. Let's say maybe a 44 Winchester Magnum cartridge. Is anybody stupid enough to 3D print a 3D plastic print a ghost gun for anything heavier than a 22? I don't know. I'm just curious. Now, the other type of ghost gun, you hook a computer to a CNC milling machine. You could take like billet aluminum and mill everything from with a CNC machine where you're but that's made out of aluminum. You're milling everything out to a heavier metal, and you can pretty much do anything you want. Now, to me, I think they should change the laws. I think they should allow you to make ghost guns, but they should make a stipulation that when you made the thing, you had to put a serial number on there. Then you had to register the serial number. I mean, they should allow you to do whatever you want. If you want to make anything that's full auto, you have to register it as full auto. Of course, I'm sure the ATF would mandate that you pay that tax stamp on there, which is like a couple $grand or $5 grand. So I don't know. It's ridiculous. I'm sure a lot of people do. home build their own stuff and say, well, hell with ATF. I'm not telling you to do that now. I'm not telling you to ignore the ATF, because you can get yourself into some serious trouble if you do that. But my question for my viewers: is anybody out there stupid enough to 3D print a plastic gun for anything more for anything other than a 22, or maybe a 25 ACP? A 25 ACP is also pretty lame. You'd want a few parts made out of out of steel. You'd need a firing pin and part of the mechanism made out of steel for a 25, or even a 22. You'd need that little crimp thing, because 22 is rimfire. I'm just curious if anybody's ever even attempted that. That's the last thing I want to cover. Completely different now. Now, I did a poor boy version of my transmission rebuild. It's kind of working. I need to go through and then redo the valve body. I'm just wondering if there's some chick, a fellow gearhead chick, want to help me make some poor boy videos. Some poor boy repair videos where we would take like an engine and do what Vice Grip Garage calls a dingo ball hone. You're taking a block that's maybe not worn too bad. You run a glaze breaker or a hone through there, through cylinders, and you put now there's different types of rings. If you have a machine shop, mellow, I'd say you get 20 thousandths over pistons. They'll put a finish on there that's intended for much better rings. But if you want to do a poor boy rebuild of an engine, you get the rings that will stand up to flexing a little bit more, for a slightly worn block. Hey, does some chick want to we just go back as stock as we can, or even on a transmission, where we do a poor boy rebuild on a transmission? Some fellow gearhead chick want to help me do a poor boy rebuild on stuff. Or maybe some chick wants to do the revival video. Maybe some chick wants to take something that's been sitting in a driveway for 20 years or 40 years or whatever, get it roadworthy to the point where we can drive it, make a daily driver out of it, drive it cross country, or just drive it local. Does some chick want to help me do a revival video? Hey, let me know. I'd love to do that. I'd love to. It's got to be a chick. It's got to be a fellow gearhead that's into that type of thing. That's got to limit it a bit, because most chicks aren't really interested in doing mechanic stuff, but some chick is. Hey, we could hit up that wrecking yard, that one of Rick DeBrule's wrecking yards, that is a Desert Auto. It's up there back in the city. I'd like to go up there and just take a tour of the place. Some chick just wants to. Even Rick DeBrule. Hey, Rick DeBrule, love your videos, dude. If you want to drag a gearhead, I don't think Rick DeBrule is really a gearhead. I think he's more into the history of automotive. That's the title of his YouTube channel, same as mine, his personal name, Rick DeBrule. But he's got some very good videos, but I don't think the guy's much of a mechanic. I think he's more into the history of, but that's equally as interesting, because he does have some interesting videos. If Rick DeBrule, if some chick wants to do a tour of one of the wrecking yards that have some of the older muscle cars, now they'll deal with that one up in Black Canyon City. They've got some nearly complete vehicles with clean titles. They're intended for, they're a project car for somebody. If somebody wants to take one of those and drag, trailer it out of there, take it to a yard in the valley somewhere, then we get it roadworthy. Hey, let me know. I'd love to do something like that. Your vehicle, your project, but I'll help you with it just to make some cool videos, cool YouTube videos. It would be your project and not mine, but I'd certainly love to help you with it, just to make some videos on it. Okay. Das Leben ist nicht einfach. If you don't know, life is not simple. Das Leben ist ein Abenteuer. Life is an adventure. C'est la vie. Oh, that's French for that's life. Ciao. Auf Wiedersehen. Vaya con Dios. Das Vistanya. That's goodbye in Russian. Mahalo. That's Hawaiian. Trying to remember what it means. Mahalo is just one of those, it's like aloha, one of those universal words. Same as ciao. Bye. Oh, let me get Mr. Carlson's lab. Mr. Carlson's lab is electronics. I keep my YouTube channel list mole. You know what I mean. I don't limit myself to one particular subject matter. But anyway, for Mr. Carlson's lab, bye for now.